but it's all those names that we do not know to this day
Mm.
that have actually pushed that work forward. And so I would be remiss to try to do that work by myself, right?
Mm.
We all stand in community with people across this nation, honestly.
Right.
And so I really wanted to feature local presenters with a national appeal, a national platform to say, how are they working this out, right? And so just to be clear, my training background is in presentation design. And so I work across the country with people you do and don't know, organizations and individuals, to help them create better presentations. And one of the things that I thought about was when I thought about MLK and the trainings that they did for liberation work, that can take a back seat to all of the marches that happened in the legislation. But it was the trainings that prepared people to stand in front of water hoses without retaliation. It was the trainings that prepared people to understand history and even theology so that they can right size their expectations and center their faith on justice, right?
I like that.
That's what the training is designed to do, right? And so pulling these people together, all of you all, I like to call y'all the Avengers, because all of you have a long history of producing that work in different sectors across the country in different ways. And so y'all really help bring that to life with real world examples.
I love it. I love it. And for folks to, and especially on radio, you got to say it twice. How do they sign up to be a part of this? How do they find the information?
So you can go to my Facebook page, Jeremy Triplett. If you find me over there, you will look up MLK Day Liberation Summit. You can also look at Eventbrite. If you type in MLK Day Liberation Summit, you'll bring that up as well. And listen, this is the best part about it for me, right? So we're going to be doing it from 10 o'clock in the morning until 4 o'clock in the evening. You get a full day training with local experts with national appeal, right? You're diving into MLK's work, not just celebrating his life and contribution. And you get to donate in order to be a part of it. Now, the donations are going to nonprofits recommended by the speakers, right? That's going to be critically important that we continuously end that legacy of donating to people doing that work already. So I'm excited for those nonprofits to receive those dollars from those donations.
That's dope. That's really dope. I am going to commit to my time to the event.
Yep.
To donate that, but I'll also donate the suggested donations for 10 folks to be a part of it. We want to see folks be a part and sign up. So find that. That's Jeremy Triplett, 1B, 2 T's.
Facts.
That's how I remember how to spell your name.
I always tell people B stands for black. It stands for black.
As you should. As you should. No, that's amazing. So we got this space. This is Monday 19th, and this is at Alamo.
Dude, it's at Alamo. So I hit up Blue, right?
Okay.
Blue, longtime community advocate, poet. She has a healing space. And so when you think about modern day activism, one of the things we recognize is that King and other activists died at younger ages with all type of physical illnesses, right? And so what we want to do is have longevity as we do resistance. And so having at that space is really symbolic of two things in my mind. The first thing is that healing and justice go together. They are not separate.
Right.
We can do this work time and time again and make spaces for us to recover, right? The second thing is at Alamo, as in Allah, God, right? And so we know that when we look at history, different religious practices came together to practice justice and do righteousness together. Right. And so that's going to be really important for us to recognize that we are reaching across lines. We are not centering our political or religious ideologies. We're instead saying, let's center liberation and justice, and let us all march in that line.
That's great. I see that Alamo is on King Drive. That is 1942 North Martin Luther King Drive in the that would be the right on the Halyard Park neighborhood. Right there. And you know, you talk about the Avengers, man, this is like the 97 Packers. Packers went to the Super Bowl that year.
Listen, man.
Jermaine know that.
Listen, man.
Brett Favre, Reggie White, Antonio Freeman.
Yeah.
This was the squad.
Yeah, man.
And we got a chance to bring that here.
Listen, bring it here, man.
Yeah.
I think, I ain't gonna lie, I had a chip on my shoulder a few years ago when I had number one, Venus's events weren't happening as much. And I remember that very well. And it really trained me on what it means to celebrate MLK.
Yeah.
But I had a chip on my shoulder, man, because I was worried that we had gotten so enamored with celebrating who we thought he was that we missed out on becoming who he wanted us to be.
Sure. Sure.
And I think that there's a danger in justice work when you can tout up people without thinking critically. Right? You can preach sermons, but can you move policy? Right? And so we want to do both, dude. We want to celebrate our strengths, but we want to recognize that this work is forever work. Let's be clear and sober-minded about the fact that there are people in the world who are seeking to do less justice for you. And you will not live a day, and your children won't live a day where they won't have to not only build institutions and opportunities, but we'll also always be living in a time where we have to protect those very things.
Man, this cat preaching, man.
Right? That's real.
He is a preacher.
Let me get this cat an offering, man. It's offering time, man. I done pulled up.
Listen, don't pull out the wallet, man.
I need $1,000 line, $500 line.
That's real.
$20 line. This cat giving that.
That's real.
Man,
I am an ordained minister, right?
So
listen.
I know.
Okay, so let's take it there, right?
Yeah.
And I was talking to one of my Muslim friends about this too.
Okay.
Right. So when we think about Nehemiah, right, the guy who is offering the king's, right, and so he hears that his community is in peril. The wall has been broken down.
That's right.
And people oftentimes skip out on this part of it, but he actually starts crying.
Because he was saddened about it.
Dude, in the words of Jonathan Majors, go read it again, right? So he started crying.
Right.
Because he had an emotional connection to a community, even watch this, when he wasn't in the same location, my boy.
Yeah, he still was connected.
Right? So he's connected. He comes to crying. Then he does something powerful. He utilizes all of his resources to build it back up again. He goes to the king and he's like, hey, man, I need a passport through all these different towns to get to where I need to be. He's like, yeah, you can have that. He goes and he grabs wood from all the trees to build up the wall. He pulls in his own resources and connections. And when he went down there, listen, I'm almost done, right?
I'm so excited. Y'all can't see it, but the
right?
The
offering is here, right?
In the studio.
When he get down there, he rides his horse along the wall at night, not to be seen intentionally. Remember that part?
Yeah.
And what I realized is when we think about doing this work of justice,
do it behind closed
gee,
doors. Hey, but
come on, and don't do it to be seen.
No, wait. It's
don't
funny
do it to be seen.
It's funny that he even said that because it just popped in my head. That scripture, what you do in the dark, he will reward you.
Yes.
Open. What you do in secret.
Yeah.
He will reward you openly.
Come on now. So he looks at the wall. He's examining.
Give myself an offering.
Dude, come on now. Preach with me, bro. Preach with me. So look, he examined all the broken places. And what I like about it is it teaches us, even through Martin MLK's lineage, that we need to be examining the broken places of ourselves, our community, and our society. And we got to look it face to face in the eye. We can't hide from it. Now, the best part about this, bro, is that when they start building the wall, he organizes people to build different parts, not the same part.
That's right.
There's no duplication.
That's right.
But there's also not isolation. We're building this. We're building the same wall, just in different places. And then he told them, listen, I want you to do something important. This is the most important part. I need you to grab a brick to build and grab a sword to defend. Bro,
what you build.
Don't forget that part.
Come on, man.
Because you got haters, and this is my point.
That's gonna try to tear down what you built.
So what's the point of building something if you don't protect what you've built?
Come on, man.
What's the point, bro?
That's right.
I'm leaving the room.
Come on.
I'm leaving the room.
That's all we saying.
Hold up,
Come on.
Jermaine is leaving the room.
I'm leaving the room, Zach. I'm out of here, man. This cat game was
What's good?
And now, I hope people know this is some of the inspiration that you will hear on January 19th.
We ready to work, bro.
Yes, at the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther
We
King
ready to work.
Jr. Liberation Summit.
So look, he lays out 4 pieces. Okay. And what I've been doing, I started off doing DEI work during the pandemic. And I've been able to consult with major 500 companies. Like, listen, we're talking about Victoria's Secrets, right? Internationally, people in Asia, right? Kohl's department stores, right? Like real companies are looking to say, how do we talk about this conversation? And what I've learned throughout that time, especially when studying our ancestors, is I've learned that specifically in that letter from Birmingham jail, he's actually writing to white preachers who are telling him that he needs to relax, wait a little bit.
Taking it too far.
Listen, right?
Doing too much.
He's telling them in this sermon that he wrote out, y'all forcing it, not me. You ain't seen me force it yet. So then he breaks down to them what the whole plan is. He says, first, we do some fact finding. And all the presenters coming, they're going to walk you through how they do the same plan while I teach you how to apply the plan. Okay, remember I got a background in presentation design, instruction design. We're gonna get it in, okay? So he said the first thing you got to do is do fact finding. What that means is you have to figure out what is the truth about the circumstances of your people. You got to learn how to leverage data. And I'm not just talking about statistics, I'm talking about user data. We're living in a time now where economics matters even more than race. MLK died looking to do that work when you talk about that at the end of his life. So we're standing in the lineage of understanding that my dollar and my data matter more than anything else. He said, you got to find the facts, my boy. The second thing he tells you is once you find the facts, you got to find somebody to negotiate with. Now, many times we misunderstand what negotiation is. He's not negotiating that I'll stop demonstrating if you do X, Y, and Z. He's saying, I'm negotiating that if you don't do X, Y, and Z,
I'm gonna do this.
We're gonna keep raising hell. And he says it is to unearth all of the racism that already exists. He's not making new problems. He is just revealing the problems. Does that make sense to you?
Doc, what?
So then he says you got to negotiate. He's giving you a chance to do right by Black and brown people. Then after that, he says you got to purify yourself. He gives an example in the letter. He said, I went down to Birmingham. I told him, listen, we don't have to march if y'all just take down the signs from the businesses that say whites only. They don't do it. They wait months. He like, listen, this is what we're going to do. We're going to purify ourselves. Now, this isn't purity culture like they do in modern day churches, talking about virgins and nothing like that. No.
This ain't it.
He's saying, he's going to take people who are willing to resist. And what he's going to do is purify their expectations. You're about to go get bit by dogs. Are you ready? You're about to get hosed on with water hoses. Are you ready? Modern day, they finna discredit you on social media. Are you ready?
Right.
Come on.
Right.
Purify yourself. This work is not a game. And what they would do during the trainings of purification is they would weed out the people who said that they were not ready to resist with discipline. If you're not ready, listen to me, to be disciplined, then you're not ready for liberation. Then you act. So on January 19th, we're going to walk you through how 4 different local leaders with national platforms practice those things. And I'm going to walk you through how you can apply it to your own life.
Man, do you need an organist on this day?
Jermaine plays bass.
Because I'm going to come to you up. I'm
Listen,
He plays the organ.
Listen.
Hey, man.
Absolutely. And listen, that is just a piece of what you will hear. And I hope Alamo is packed out that day. I hope it is packed out that day. I hope there's no room for seating. I hope folks have to do extra work to take care of their kids. You can bring your kids if you like, but we want this room to be packed.
Yeah, man.
Because it's going to be a special space. So thank you so much for highlighting that.
Appreciate you.
After the break, we are going to bring another piece of the Urban Underground history and lineage to the microphone. And she's doing amazing work at the city. That will be Alderwoman Charlene Moore. And she'll get a chance to come to the mic and talk about that. So Be a Voice Radio. See you guys after the break. Welcome back to Be a Voice Radio on WNOV 860 AM, 106.5 FM. Big shouts out to Biko. Biko is always here in the mix, and I think you all should trust the future direction of this radio station under his leadership. I feel like it's about to go to another level.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, I have my trust and faith in him. I've known him for years in the community. This is the same Biko Baker from Campaign Against Violence. And if you know the amazing work of that organization over the years, you know he has been committed to the community for quite some time. Has done things on the national level, has done things with the source. So I want to make sure I put that in, because I know I see some comments that folks are kind of fearful that they don't know what the future direction will be. But let's trust the folks that we know that are still at the helm, and to make sure this radio station does good work. So big shouts out to Biko. All right. So as the person that taught me facilitation would always highlight, you have to be able to, take off the plane, fly it, and then land it. And the good thing is at Urban Underground, and if you're not familiar, Urban Underground was an amazing youth leadership organization on the north side of the city of Milwaukee, and produced a lot of great leaders, gave young people the power and the preparation to be able to take their rightful place as leaders in the community at the age that they were in at that point, and not waiting for them to turn 18 to vote, not waiting for them to have a job, work for a company. In the private sector, they were empowered as students to be able to influence the issues that affected them. So we dove into that work, and facilitation was a huge part of this. And it's so funny to be able to have Jeremy Triplett in the same room as now Alderwoman Charlene Moore. And Jeremy was our best facilitator. Like he turned into like the chosen one of facilitation when we did our workshops. It was like, he's Giannis. He is the Greek freak. So, we would put him into play in the game, and listen, we're going to win. There was no doubt. He was going to drop 50 points. He was going to dunk on whoever they had on their side. And, but we all, we were taught by one of the greatest. That was Charlene Moore.
And Reggie Moore.
Big shouts out to Reggie. We've had Reggie on the show, so big shouts out to Reggie Moore as well. He's doing great things in violence prevention work. So Charlene Moore is at the city. You're at the city.
Yes.
And we're coming up on 2026. This will complete your second year in office.
Absolutely.
And, you got elected in the 10th district.
Mm-hmm.
Representing a number of great neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. List off those neighborhoods for us.
I don't know if I can list all of them, but
not all of them, but a few.
Look, the one I live in, Merrill Park is in the house. We have Deneen Park.
That's right.
We have Endress Park, Washington Heights, Story Hill, Martin Drive.
Mm-hmm.
Like the D10, okay, is one of the greatest districts in our city, along with others. I'm not going to disparage my colleagues, but shout out to D10.
Absolutely. So Michael Murphy, your predecessor,
yes,
was in that district for years.
34 years.
34 years. That reminds me of Polly Williams before I was elected, was in
and he was 6 years before that as a legislative assistant.
Oh wow.
So I didn't realize he was there that long.
He has been a student of the game before he was, in the front seat.
That's it.
Being a member of the legislative branch in the city. But give us some insight of just the thoughts as you go into 2026, and you've been able to lead on some issues, leading on some legislative things, and what's at the top of your priority list?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I just want to say thank you so much. I'm honored to be here. And listen, I don't know why David got me going after Jeremy, because I could sit and talk to Jeremy all day. I could sit and listen to Jeremy all day. So, he knows how proud of him that I am. And, for some of the listeners, some people are like, David, your brother, like your real brother? I'm like, yes, David is my biological brother. Right. We have the same mama and the same daddy. He's my biological brother. People are just like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, we knew how to keep it professional. That's
absolutely. People were just like, oh, he just works here.
No, like,
Yeah, that's
in
how we
Urban
do.
Underground, I was there for like a year, and I was like, "Who, brother and sister?" I did not.
Literally feel like the young
That's it.
people were
We
like,
knew,
"Oh,
we
we
knew how
didn't
to
know
keep
y'all
it
were related."
professional.
Yeah,
That's it.
yeah.
So you know what's so interesting, y'all? God has really laid a roadmap for me. Being in urban, helping to co-create Urban Underground with a space of so many amazing. We had so many amazing staff over the years. He's led me to this point because I never thought about politics. I always like, y'all should go into politics. David, yes. What you need me to do? Let me do some doors for you. Like, I never thought about going into this field. And so, it was God himself, because he had to he opened the door and he said, yes, this is where I need you to walk in. I'm gonna make it very, very plain for you. And he did. And so going into this realm was the exact thing that I was supposed to be doing at this point in my life. And so I'm honored to be in this space. And, people tell me, man, how's it? They kind of look at me like, oh, how's it going? And I'm like, I love it. I love, because I love people.
Right.
With doing this type of work, you have to love people.
Yeah, you do.
You have to be able to talk to them and connect with them and listen to them, right? And so this was such a natural fit for me at this point. And so the big part of it for me, so the people stuff and showing up, like, that's the low hanging fruit. I can do that all day. It's me learning the policy side of things, right? Because how this city moves is based on laws and policies and ordinances. And so that's a skill set that's not very natural, for me. So I have to learn, okay, how do you do that? And, I'm honored and grateful for some of the longstanding colleagues that have been there. Malele, Alderwoman Malele Coggs. You have Alderman Bowman that have been there. Russell Stamper has been there. You have a few folks that have, been there previously, but there's a few folks that I typically reach out to, when I need support, as well as, folks out in my community, that I can sit and talk to, some of the elders that I can sit and talk to as well.
Right. No, that's amazing. And this just completed your second budget.
Yes.
And before we get into details of the city budget, things happening there, I know we have a caller. So let's bring the caller in. Welcome to WNOV, Be a Voice Radio.
Hey, good afternoon to you. Good afternoon. I hear a lot of great things, and I hear people talking about how
Meech, turn your radio down. Meech, if you got your radio on.
My radio is down, bro.
Okay, do you have us on? Do you have us on speaker?
No, I'm talking regular.
Okay, hold on.
I know better than that, but I do hear echo on you.
Yeah. Hold on 1 second. Let's try to fix that so everybody can hear exactly what you said, brother.
And appreciate your call, Meech.
Say something.
Yeah, appreciate hearing from you, Doc.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Okay, can you hear me better?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, I hear the alderman, the alder lady, talking about taking over Murphy's job, which Murphy was actually right after Norquist. He becomes sort of like the mayor down there. Actually, Murphy legislated and got this Vision Zero passed in our community, which is really just a disruption of traffic, and so it's nothing to be. Murphy was a bad man. We can't give him no props because everything he did, really outside his little community over there in the Washington Heights area, was aimed and targeted towards the keep down of black folk. Now, we talk about black people having organizations. We got the most organizations in the whole round world right here in America. And why do we have such a dilemma in our community? I mean, I just heard the preacher on. He was talking up some good stuff. And then it makes me wonder, just what kind of negotiation do we want to do? What kind of negotiation is it? We got a man in the White House right now that's won't know black folk that's supposed to be black caucus, black leaders that's talking this black power. Engage this man or approach this man with some ideas because we know he's a narcissist and we know that he just wanted to be said that he did for black folk. Why wouldn't we use this opportunity when we talk about getting to the table, making a deal? So, Doc, I want to ask you a question. Is the preacher still there?
Yep, preacher's still here.
What kind of deal are you talking about and who you talking about making it with? And how will it affect the mass of people opposed to just a few people around your table that can get fed and get some of that grant money or whatever, however they send it back to us, some pork that Congress send back. How do we help the mass of people, the deal that you're talking? I'm gonna take that off the air, but I'm gonna be listening. And the older lady, you know what you can do? You can forget all the policy and run off of what you feel, your gut instinct, what you suppose, like the McGee's, and we don't got no aldermen like that no more. They all coming to learn policy. You learn policy, you learn how to be a politician. You learn how to be a politician, you're no good to the people. But I just want to hear what you guys got to say. I'll take the information off there.
I got you. Well, appreciate that, Meech. And let me also tee this up too. Jeremy Triplett is teeing this up for the 19th, and to get folks to come out to the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Leadership Summit.
That's right.
And it is going to be a great space, and we invite everybody out. Meech, if you want to come out, everybody, to be able to dive in. But let's make sure we look at this through the lens of Dr. King. Yeah. And he said the deal, like, what is the deal that we should be building for Black people in 2026?
So one of the things we have to consider is that the deal, quote unquote, is many deals across the country at many levels. Mm. You cannot look at it only from one federal level. If you do, you're going to miss out on a whole bunch of local stuff that never gets enacted because people just ignore the federal things, right? And so you have to look at it from a totality perspective.
That's right.
The question becomes, who do we have in mass? That's one of the questions you asked. How many people are being active, and what are we doing to create inroads? So, for example, at the federal level, we can create all kinds of quote unquote deals or make requests. One of the things we have to do is when we make the request, we have to have a strategy behind the request to force it. That's the part that we oftentimes are missing. We can say all day long we don't want, for example, I remember we were all sitting up during the pandemic and we were all thinking about making sure we reduce police brutality, right? Increase justice so that they don't have immunity, right? Mm-hmm. I remember sitting up there watching us get like cameras and like street signs, right? Which one of those was the actual request, right? And so sometimes what happens is we'll take something we did not actually ask for and call it progress. And so really understanding at the federal level, local level, churches, schools, we're always making demands. And what we're doing is here's the most important part though. It isn't the demand. It is the strategy behind pushing the demand. What am I going to do if I don't get it is the most important question.
Sure. That's right.
Because what happens is we end up stalled and we end up without things we've asked for years because we didn't have a strategy.
That's right.
To push the ask through.
So you know what? He just said something that was so profound. And it just hit me like this. Don't confuse movement with progress because you can be on a treadmill moving, but you're not really going anywhere.
That's right.
Compared to actually getting off the treadmill and running up Capitol, you're moving and progressing. So it's the whole thing of, we see movement and like, okay, well, we are progressing and we really not. It's just, we just moving.
Yeah.
And so, what you just said, we asked for such, and then we got this and we was, good with that. But in reality, that's not what we asked for.
Yeah.
Right. And then just to close it out before I hand it over to Charlene. Yeah. The next piece is you can't be too broad, which is why I mentioned earlier, different people all over the place.
Yeah,
that's right.
You have to be specific.
Yeah.
Because this thing, what you're doing is when you're doing equity work, you're oftentimes trying to make sure key people get what they need, how they need it.
Yeah.
When you're doing justice work, you're trying to make sure systems don't get to mistreat people without consequence. Yeah. But when you're doing liberation work, you're building something new that does not depend on the system.
That's right.
That's it.
Right. And so when we think about moving towards systems, that requires us to be strategic. And we have to know that we're chipping away at things piece by piece. We see the 1965 Act, 1962 Act. Those were pieces of legislation.
Sure.
Those were activities that happened over years.
That's right.
That culminated into what we can see as justice.
Absolutely.
And can I just say this, because I appreciate Brother Meech's comments, and I tell everybody that reach out to my office, whether I agree with you or not, you have the right to your opinion, right? And so I appreciate him calling in, as just really tying into Jeremy and the work that I'm doing right now, and as I think about just even the foundation that we brought together just through Urban Underground, it was always about the people.
Yep.
How do we educate the people? I was just talking to somebody the other day and I was just like, man, the church used to be such a pivotal movement, a pivotal piece. The further on we got into Urban Underground, you know, the years that have gone by, there were some of our young people that just never went to church. And, you know, we got to the point where I'm just like, wait a minute, baby, you ain't never been to church. You know, compared to when we started Urban Underground in 2000, you know, I'm using that as a benchmark, right? That there was more, you know, and based on a lot of things, but there was more engagement with community, family, etc. Right? And as we moved along, it was just like, well, wait a second, you know, Big Mama got younger, right? Our communities, we walked out of our house and didn't know people. We didn't talk to each other. We didn't connect with each other. You know, the church wasn't that central force where we're going to be a beacon or a staple in our community. So I understood a lot of this work where I'm present right now is, how do I educate the people? That's what this is all about. How do we bring people together for them to understand when we talk about that movement building? How do we bring them together to understand what is at stake and what is your role? Because a lot of times people are like, well, no, that, you know, that's not me, or I can't. And it's just like, I get it, but we have to still talk about what's my role. What's my part? That's right. It might not be the facilitation part. That's not where my love language is, or, you know, that's not what I was intended to do, but it may be, listen, I can cook a good meal. And so when you have your facilitation meetings, I can bring some food. You may be connected to people. Hey, I can, you know, tell some folks, you may be the graphic designer. Like, it's the pieces that we pull together to continue to build community. And I think those are the smaller pieces that we continue to miss.
Yeah, we will definitely get a chance to build on that with our next caller. And I just want to make sure I highlight, because I think one of the underlying points that Meech and a lot of folks that they believe in President Trump's leadership, what they're also looking for is not to pass on the opportunity to make a demand of whoever is in whatever seat, just because of their party affiliation. Everybody can get that smoke, and they deserve it, right? Because they are in a position of power to make a decision that is affecting all of us. So if anything, it's even more important at the different levels of government, as we have a new governor's race coming up next year, as we have another state Supreme Court race coming up next year, and, you know, down the ballot on even congressional members. Are we doing our part to make sure that we are asking of them the clear demands that we know that will benefit our future, the vision that we have for our community? And I think no matter who it is, we can go talk to Governor Evers, we can go talk to the President of the United States, President Trump. It does not matter, and everyone can buy in to a vision that benefits all of us. That's it. We do have another caller. Welcome to Be a Voice Radio on WNOV.
Hey, how's it going?
Blessings. How are you, sir?
Blessings to you all as well. The protection piece that the gentleman who was speaking previously, before Beach was talking about, one language of love that I have always said on this platform, and rest in peace, Mr. Jones, for creating this platform, that should be respected more by those in our community. And Brother Meach, probably 100 times this year, I have fact-checked lies that he stole. And the lie that Black leaders have not only tried to sit down with him, and that people like him advocated for quote-unquote seat at the table, where there were people who actually campaigned right alongside him here in our city downtown, people like Tim Scott and Byron Douglas and his cabinet, when he created his DEI cabinet of underqualified, unqualified, unexperienced drug addicts. President Trump did. Not one of those people, only one of those people, I believe, was Black. So that pretense of a seat at the table with a fascist regime who was erasing Black history and where 300,000 Black women have lost their jobs, most of them undeserved, is a fallacy. So to present this argument with Brother Meats, I do a comparison. I don't know if you guys are familiar with a gentleman by the name of Isaiah T. Montgomery. And there are people who will grip right now and pretend, just as Mr. Montgomery did, that they are doing things to benefit Black people when it is only their efforts are only to benefit them and to line their pockets and to kiss up to a Confederate regime. Isaiah T. Montgomery was the person in Mississippi who sided with Southern bigots to disenfranchise Black voters, which started the Compromise of 1877, where Jim Crow started. That Jim Crow, that the 8% of Black people who voted for this current occupant of the White House, that they seem to belong to. And most of these people received the benefits of the 1964 Civil Rights Act and don't even understand all that it did for them and for their opportunities to say that they pulled themselves up by their bootstraps, all while trying to raise the ladder up so that our children don't have access to that. And so, Jermaine, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am here.
I want to keep a tally of me fact-checking the lies in 2026 that our brother Meach tells, because I don't think this platform was created as the first Black radio station, I believe, in America, for lies to spread like a wildfire in our community. And like a fire extinguisher, every time I get a chance, when my brother tells a lie, I'll do the godly thing to love the liar, but to hate the lie and put it out just like a fireman putting out a 5-alarm fire.
So D,
yeah.
don't hang up. Stay on the line, man. I'm gonna talk to you off air, but hold tight.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. We appreciate your comments, and that's exactly right. You know, members of the Congressional Black Caucus have definitely attempted to have conversations with the White House and to highlight a number of different issues that they have. So I don't think they're just sitting it out, or just because who they prefer is not the president, and they just take their ball and go home. A lot of them still advocate day in, day out, virtually every day, for the issues that they know are at stake, especially when you talk about the health and well-being of the folks in our community. And there have been a lot of decisions that have been made by the White House currently that have been counter to the health and well-being to a lot of folks in our community. So, it's all for debate in this public sphere. Let's get a chance to dive into just kind of like, as we have like maybe 10 more minutes in the show, to really just bring home what are you seeking to prioritize in your leadership, and especially in the mindset of, as we honor a legend like the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, I appreciate that that question. I think and a lot of people have asked me, what do I want to get out of office? And a big part of it for me was, number one, service to people. Okay. That's what you do in this work. You go in serving people and listening to their voices, because I can think of some, a lot of things that are important, but if I'm not listening to my residents and the people that I'm representing, then I'm just doing this work for the accolades, and that's absolutely not what I move into this work to do. So it's being of service to the people, and creating spaces for people to come together, whether they have disagreements or opportunities for learning, come together to figure out, how do we, be in community together. Because we have some really strong neighborhoods. That's one of the things that I've realized, like, you can be in a neighborhood, you can live in a neighborhood and not know anybody around you, not know their names, not know that their kids go, to school down the street, like not, and we've lived that sort of life here in Milwaukee as population has changed, and, people have become transient, and, all these things that have had, property taxes have gone up, all these things that have happened. we still have to understand that community starts with us, and building community is knocking on that door next door to you. You know, hey, my name is Charlene. You know, I've seen you with the kids all the time. How, you know, let me have a conversation with you, right? Not being afraid to do that. And I hear time and time again that people have become so afraid that to just even talk to each other. And so I want to go into this framework to be of service to others, and to learn how this sort of system, because this is a different type of system, how this system operates, and how I can learn from it so that I can leave a mark that's that I've used my time, that what God has instilled in me, I've used it wisely to make decisions. And again, I tell people, I'm not going to always do it right. I'm going to make some mistakes.
Sure.
That's what being new, and that's what this work is all about. I'm going to make some mistakes, but I want to be a continuous learner. So I sit on public safety and health committee, and I also sit on the finance committee. Two of the I think we have like 7 or 8 committees of the council, and a big part of what I've been trying to learn is, when people talk about safety in our communities, what does that look like? We've just had the police, the contracts, and policing got more money. And before doing this work, we did a lot of work around youth justice, and I've told people we can't police our way out of these situations. We got to figure out how to build community. We got to have affordable housing. We got to look at the systemic issues, job opportunities. What does that look like? Transportation, all of those things that, youth opportunities. What are those things that we're investing in? Because the, policing is a part of our world, but it shouldn't be the primary part of our world. And learning how to deal with particular issues, that comes back to community. We got young people right now that don't know how to handle conflict because this is what they got in their hand. So it's the phone, it's the, they haven't been taught how to just do some basic things such as problem solve, and so I want to go in and be in office, to be a support and a help first, to my community, and then to learn how can I make the lives of not only the residents in District 10, but the residents in the city of Milwaukee. How can I make their lives better?
That's awesome. And to be fair, the legends that have done this work have all made mistakes too.
Facts.
Right. They all have had to go through the process of learning and getting better at the craft every day. So I really appreciate your leadership on that. Jeremy, same to you. And then I have another question after that for both of you. But just how do you look ahead for 2026 and your priorities?
Man, 2026, I've already said it before on my Facebook page. It's about divine connection. It's about connecting again with people and making sure when you connect with people, you show up healed, and you offer space to heal and get better. It is about strategy, not just opportunity.
That's it.
And so for me, it is about what is the long game? What am I willing to work toward? Not just what am I willing to take advantage of? And so all of those pieces to me come together. It's time for us to think strategically. When we think about what is being taken from community, how things are shifting, one of the things that I always hold true is that we are a people that are not just resilient, but we thrive. And we have thrived, and we've always thrived despite any challenges and setbacks. We thrive, right? And so we know that is us. We need to center that again. Center the fact that we have what we need in community, like Charlotte said, to become who we need to be to heal and to exist whole. And so that is my intention for 2026 for sure.
That's good.
Yeah,
Ooh,
that's
love
awesome.
That.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
At Wisconsin Voices, we are in a rebuilding phase, and we look for 2026 to be a year of progress, of mending a lot of the relationships that we have. And there's some evidence of that with my 6 months on board, but we got more to go, and it will be a big year to fulfill that with the huge elections that we have in April, in August, and in November. So, yeah, we're up to the task, and we got a good team to do it. So we're looking forward to, for our purpose, as you talk about education, creating those moments of education throughout the community, those spaces of education throughout the community. Critical thinking is really important, and in a sense, kind of going back to basics. So as you talk about the spaces throughout the community and the church, and getting a chance to engage in the faith community, engage in community spaces, and reinvigorate them again. That's funny.
That is funny. Yeah, we can share it. Go ahead, David.
Yeah, I mean, somebody has a question right now that Jermaine. What's the question for? What's the phone number and contact info for Urban Underground? It lives in our hearts at this point. Urban Underground.
It lives in our hearts.
Urban Underground.
Urban Underground was a great organization, but it lives in our hearts. It's not an active operation at this point.
We talk about it like it's here now.
Yeah,
it's here now.
But it's so funny that we have a huge alumni base.
Yeah.
And whenever we see each other, we'll see alumni. We literally just out. Shouts out to Shay Aggie. He was just celebrating his birthday. And we got Urban Underground alumni just walking in the building. We're like, yo, hey. So it's like it's unstoppable. But it did great work. It did amazing work. And the way you get in touch with it, I think all those social media platforms are still up. You can visit some of those pictures.
Take a trip down memory lane.
Yeah, but thank you for your call.
Thank you.
Yeah. And let me say, oh my gosh, people have been so sad when they heard.
And have you
Urban
ever been able to
Underground.
publicly talk about?
You know what? I haven't.
Yeah,
And
so
I
this
need
is your
to.
time. This is your time.
I need to create a space where I'm just like, we've had some greats that have come out of Urban Underground. We're hoping to have a governor, a future governor, be an Urban Underground alum. Shout out David Crawley.
David Crawley did come out of Urban Underground.
Right. So we've had so many amazing individuals that when I went into office, it was my fork in the road. And so many of the staff that I had at the time went on to do great things because that was the purpose. And so Urban Underground served a purpose for its time. And I'm grateful and honored. Myself and Reggie is grateful and honored to have been a part of that.
Absolutely. And then last, how do you plan to take care of yourself? We got a 20-30 second response. How do you plan to take care of yourself in 2026?
Vacation, Legos, bikes.
There you go.
And for me is rest.
Yeah.
I'm learning to get rest.
You can't do it all.
Yes.
And don't be sad or mad that you can't do it all.
That's it.
You do what you can, create your capacity, and make sure you prioritize your rest. So as we wind this down, it has been an amazing 2025. I was just saying yesterday, it felt like we probably lived 2.5 years in 1 year, because that's the cycle right now. But nonetheless, I'm excited about what 2026 will bring. The stakes only get higher from here, and we got real work to do. So Milwaukee, we look forward to working and being engaged with you this upcoming year. Stay connected on social media. Wisconsin Voices has a position on all platforms, and we look forward to seeing you in the new year.
Have a
Happy
prosperous
holidays.
new year, everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you to my guests, Charlotte Moore, Jeremy Triplett, Urban Underground Legends, and I'm David Bowen from Wisconsin Voices. We are out. Everybody look at that camera and say peace.